everyone, my name is Desola. I'm a fashion designer and you are welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Daisy's Wardrobe. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're an existing subscriber, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you've seen my videos before and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And put on the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. I'm an African-inspired ready-to-wear fashion designer based here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I've been in business for over 10 years. So here on my channel, I talk about being a fashion designer, running a fashion business, starting a clothing line, and once in a while, I talk about my life. And so here in today's video, I'll be talking about what I wish I knew before I became a fashion designer. So like I said, I'm an African-inspired ready-to-wear fashion designer. I make my designs and I sell my designs right here in my store. I've been a fashion designer for quite some time, and the journey to where I am today has not necessarily been the easiest or the smoothest journey ever, but being a fashion designer has its highs and has its lows. I can say that the highs outnumbers the lows, and also it depends on how you look at it. A lot of people want to become fashion designers and they look at a lot of people, a lot of famous fashion designers, they look at the glitz and the glam and they think that, you know, this is how being a fashion designer is. There's so much that goes on in the back end that a lot of people don't see and a lot of people don't know about. And in today's video, I'll be sharing some of them with you. First of all, when people think about being a fashion designer, they think about the glitz, the glam, the fancy clothing, the fancy lifestyle that some fashion designers have. To be honest with you, it's not always very fancy. A lot of people and a lot of consumers of fashion don't necessarily see what goes on in the back end of being a fashion designer. They don't see the hard work, they don't see the struggles, they don't see the challenges that some fashion designers have to overcome to be where they are or to get to where they want to be. Being a fashion designer, it's definitely not fancy. Even I can speak for myself, some people may see me, people that know me anyway, and people that see me online or whatever the case may be, and they think, oh, they see this person, you know, the way she is, put together and all that. But honestly, I don't look like this when I'm working. I look far from this when I'm working. When I'm working, I'm very hands-on. It's a whole different ball game completely. And by the time you're done, you know, or by the end of the day, most of the time, when you're done with all the things that you have to do as a fashion designer, the glitz and the glam and the fancy things that people think about is not necessarily, is the last thing on your mind. All you just want to do is get some rest and then think of how you can push your designs out there and make sales for your business. Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to being a fashion designer takes a lot of hard work. It takes a whole lot of hard work and a whole lot of determination. And I think the reason is because there's a whole lot of people out there who are fashion designers. There's so much competition in the fashion industry, and every fashion designer has their own niche in which they want to stand out. Trying to stand out in a very competitive market can be a struggle. It can be a struggle, and also it now boils down to how you can be strategic in being a fashion designer and looking for ways in which to stand out, looking for ways in which to enter into this competitive market and be accepted and your designs appreciated. You know, when I worked in a corporate job, you know, you start work in the morning about 8-9 a.m. and ideally you should close about 5-6 p.m. in the evening. I never closed at that time. I worked till about 9 p.m., 10 p.m. in the evening. And I thought to myself that I was really working hard. I thought I was overworking myself and all that kind of stuff. But when I started working for myself as a fashion designer, I found myself even working 2-3 times harder than when I was in a corporate job, because I said to myself, I wanted to make it in this industry. I wanted to do very, 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 very well in this industry. And if you really, really want to do well, you really need to be ready to work very, very hard. I found myself working till extreme late hours of the night and starting work at really, really early hours of the morning. I had times when I had to choose what was more important to me, either my family or my business of being a fashion designer. I didn't necessarily want to choose between the two. I wanted both of them to succeed at the same time. And because I wanted both of them to succeed simultaneously, it took a lot from me. And even till this very moment, it still takes a whole lot from me. Being a fashion designer, being a mother, being a business owner, being a wife, running a home, running a business, it's a whole lot. So you find yourself working very hard, and because you're working very hard, the only reason why you're working very hard is because you're determined to succeed and you want to succeed. And sometimes you say to yourself, whatever it takes to succeed, I'm ready to do it, as long as it's not fraud anyway. But whatever it takes, you're willing to do it to succeed. So being a fashion designer, I find myself working even harder than when I worked for someone else. Another thing about being a fashion designer or becoming a fashion designer that I never really knew was that passion is not enough. Passion will never be enough. One will think that, okay, I know how to sew, I can sew. Because like I've said in the past in a lot of my videos, when I first started my fashion business as a fashion designer, I wasn't very, very good in sewing. I wasn't fantastic in sewing. I knew how to sew, but I wasn't very good. And I had to go and learn and learn and learn. And, after learning, a lot of practice and all that kind of stuff, it came to a point where I realized that passion is not enough. When you're running a business, a fashion business, and you're a fashion designer, an independent fashion designer running your own business, passion is not enough. There is so much more it takes to run a successful business. There is so much more that is required of you to have a successful business other than having a passion for sewing. You can know how to sew, you can know how to cut extremely well, you can know how to be the most creative fashion designer on the surface of this earth. But the thing is, when you do all these things, these designs are not going to sell itself. You have to go out there and hustle and look for how to sell your designs, how to put your designs in the face of your target audience, which is another skill entirely that you need to go and, I needed to go and learn on my own. Skills like how to market your business, how to position your business properly so that your target audience can locate you. I had to go and take short courses on all these things, how to, position your business basically in the right way, in the proper way. I had to go and learn all these things. I did a number of short courses, over time, and they had nothing to do with sewing. They had nothing to do with designing. They had nothing to do with being a fashion designer, basically. It all had to do with business. So you may see that you come on my channel, you find that I don't have any sewing tutorials on my video. I'm not going to do any of that. There are so many sewing channels online where you can learn how to sew, but not on this channel, because on this channel I talk about the things that I struggled with when I started my fashion business, which were different from learning how to sew, how to start a business properly, how to find a niche, how to position your business, how to market your business, how to register your business, and so many of all these other things, how to identify your target customer or your ideal customer. These were the things that I struggled with when I first started my business, especially in the first couple of years. And these are the things that I talk about more on my channel. Another thing about being a fashion designer that I never knew is you have to continue learning every single day. Like I said initially, the fashion industry is extremely competitive. It is very, very, very competitive. Today, if you think, you're the hottest thing in town, I give you another couple of weeks or another couple of months, and one other thing or one other person somewhere, somehow, is now the hottest thing, and everybody wants that hot thing. You need to continue to develop yourself. You need to continue to learn your skill, learn your trade, learn your business. The learning process is continuous. Even when it comes to sewing, you need to continue to practice and practice and practice, because from my own personal experience, once you don't practice your sewing, you tend to forget. I don't know about any other person, but for me, if I don't practice and practice and practice, I tend to forget, and I have to start, refreshing my memory and all that kind of stuff. So I'm always practicing. I'm always practicing new things, learning new things about fashion design. Another thing that I never knew about becoming a fashion designer was developing business skills and other skills. Just like I said earlier, I had to take short courses related to business that had nothing to do with fashion design, to be able to put myself out there, to be able to make other people see my designs, know about my brand, and make my ideal customers, my target audience, locate me, know where I am, know who I am. I had to do so many other things. I had to learn so many other things that had nothing to do with fashion design to position myself and position my business in the proper way. Another thing again is that there's something about being a fashion designer is when you've worked so hard, you've been so committed and dedicated to being a fashion designer, one day you just start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You start seeing yourself doing so well, and literally you can see your breakthrough, or rather you've even seen your breakthrough. It's very, 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 very easy to get carried away, and then you just feel that, oh yes, because I've arrived, because I've made it, because I've whatever the case may be, you're so happy, you're so excited, and you just get carried away and just relax. Before you know what's happening, you're long gone. You're now gist of the past, because the fashion industry is very competitive, like I said. Whenever you see yourself seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you eventually break through and you feel like it's time for me to relax. No, it's not time for you to relax. It's time for you to work harder so that you can continue to remain in this breakthrough, in this limelight, in this space that you are in, so that you can continue to remain in it for a while. You need to continue to work. You need to continue to build on what you've already started. And lastly, what I never knew about becoming a fashion designer is being a fashion designer is a lot harder than people think. It is a tough job. It is very, 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 very tough. But the thing is, if you're passionate about being a fashion designer, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tough it is, you always find a way through. When I first started my business, I went for a networking event, and they asked the general question, and they said, if you had $1 million, would you still do what you are doing currently or do something else? And I went ahead and asked myself that question. Would I be a fashion designer or I would be something else? And I said, no, I would be a fashion designer. If I had $1 million, I would be a fashion designer. And I thought of different ways that $1 million can be useful to my fashion business and different things I would love to do in my fashion business if I had $1 million. And that was when I knew that fashion design was what I wanted to do. So if you're passionate about it, you will definitely find your way around it. So my video for today is done. If you enjoyed watching my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. And so I will see you soon. Bye!